Hello everyone, welcome at Get ResponsLIVE. We are here every Thursday, normally at 4 o'clock, today at 7 o'clock, why not? And I have as a guest Ilya Fainberg, you already see him. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, it's not my day today. This afternoon I had to give a training and my laptop completely quit on me, so it's also nice. And yeah, it's one of those days. But I'm glad you're here, Ilya. Welcome. Can you hear me?
Thank you very much. I feel a little bit self-conscious about the fact that both your laptop and my laptop died. And essentially the only reason that I'm able to connect is through a tablet of another vendor.
Yeah, exactly. It works. So I'm glad you're here.
It works.
Yeah, it works. So we're going to be talking about the combination of AI and Power Platform. And there's a lot of use cases. There's a lot of technology. And I'm very happy that you are joining us to explain a little bit what's available and what you can do with it in real life. So that will be the topic of today. And if you're watching via LinkedIn or YouTube, you can just be involved in the discussion. So you can chat with us via the comments in both channels. So let us know if you're watching, because it's a different time. So I'm curious to know: are you watching? Did you already eat? And before we start on the topic, Ilya, for the people that don't know you, can you shortly introduce yourself?
Sure. Well, as it says at the bottom, I'm a senior program manager at Microsoft. So I'm kind of part of the team at Microsoft. It's called Fast Track. Some people know that name. Some people less know that name. Typically, it's a team that engages with larger partners and customers. But the point of that team is to be essentially the R&D arm of the product group at Microsoft, of the business applications product group at Microsoft specifically. And my job and our job in general is to connect with customers, see how they work, how they use our products, advise them on to implement our products according to best practices. So, for example, if you do the Dynamics project, Dynamics plus platform project, we will engage with you at design stage, and we will guide you through on how to kind of build your architecture in such a way that it is according to best practices of Microsoft and according to what the roadmap holds ahead as well, so that you avoid implementing things that will be part of the product in a year. People sometimes do it because they are not aware, but also avoid making all the common mistakes and pitfalls that other customers do within a certain industry or within type of application. So we kind of work at a global scale, like my customers are all around the world across any time zone, and kind of aside from bringing that guidance to customers, what we also expect customers is to understand what are the challenges, what are the issues, and how they are using the product, and what is missing in the product to make sure that they can achieve their goals and they can deploy successful implementations, right? And if we see that something is not there, then essentially we are the team that has a direct line to the engineers that make those changes in the product, that create those new features, to the program managers that work on those new features. It's just that we have a lot of different kind of products, right? A lot of people building all those kind of products, but you have just kind of one faster team, which can bridge you to any one of those persons depending on your need, essentially.
Yeah, now great. And now you explained, you are also heavily involved in working on the combination of AI and the Power Platform. And now I have your slides now in the screen. I hope everything technically goes right with the streaming. Yeah, probably also not. But if you're watching, let us know in the comments, please, whether everything works okay technically. Because normally I already have some comments, so let me know. But maybe everyone is still having dinner. That can also be. But we're just going to continue, and for sure, you can also watch it back. This is your slides that you brought with me. I shared it in the live stream, and probably some titles are from the event. But I already in the announcement I said you have quite a career behind you. You did a lot of different things next to development.
It's been quite a road,
yeah. So interesting. But let's continue to AI. Can you? I will be your slide because you don't have access to the slides yourself. So maybe you can change them. I'm not sure, but otherwise I'll do it for you. Can you tell us a little bit what for you is AI? What?
I'm on my 4th restart of the laptop. That doesn't respond. So I think that will continue on my iPad, I guess. Yeah. So kind of one of the topics that I work on, yes, that's AI, and specifically AI and Power Platform. But also, I'm trying not to limit myself, just to what we already have in Power Platform, but also what we have in the more general stack of Microsoft. And even things that we have outside of Microsoft as well. And kind of in this deck, what I'm starting with, as the slide says, is the definition of what AI is. Not kind of the scientific definition. I'm not trying to tell what machine learning is or the science behind it or algorithms or things like that. But what does it mean to you as a person who is the kind of user of AI? Maybe not the end user, but as a developer or a maker, or maybe even as an end user. What does that mean to you? And what does actually mean is that AI, in very simple terms, is a solution to solve specific tasks. Okay, it is when we talk about AI, especially when people throw words like AI and ChatGPT and OpenAI, it always in this context as if it's something kind of magical that can do everything and anything for anyone. But the truth is that AI cannot drive your kids to school. Okay, it cannot do building construction. It cannot. There's a lot of things that it cannot do. In fact, there's many different kinds of AI, and all of them are kind of geared towards doing very well something very narrow. There's specific AIs to write text. There's specific AIs to give legal advice. There's specific AIs to create images. So those are all tools, but a bit at a higher level. It is still like you're using a hammer or a screwdriver. It's just that this hammer is a little bit smarter than it used to be. It is still a tool.
Yeah, okay? So you have to pick the right AI tool, is what you're saying. Huh? There's not one AI solution. No. You have different solutions for different purposes. And sometimes, but that's my experience, then people use, for example, GPT to create code. No, it's okay, but not good enough for a couple of people. Yeah, maybe it's not the right tool then, right? So another tool may be better.
Yeah. Kind of even with ChatGPT, for example, like you have the GitHub Copilot, which is, also obviously based on ChatGPT, but it is tuned towards code specifically. If you take the general ChatGPT, it wouldn't work as good, even if it's like the same engine underneath.
Yeah. So even the same solution can have different tools around it. Yeah. Interesting. Exactly. So AI within Microsoft, that's, of course, there are a lot of solutions, and I think the next,
and I wanted to separate this into two kinds of AI, which is specifically applicable to Power Platform. And in Power Platform, I would say that the two kinds of AI we have is development AI and operational AI. And by that I mean that one type of AI is being used to build applications, but not necessarily as part of your end solution. So it's not something that the end user will interact with. And the other AI, operational AI, is the opposite. Essentially, it's a component that you put in your application for the benefit of the end user. It will benefit kind of the functionality of the end user, but will not necessarily help you build that application itself. And of course, kind of the way we work right now is that we try to combine the two, but it also makes sense to make that distinction because those different AIs are meant for different purposes and for different types of audiences, essentially.
Yeah.
And go to the next? If you look at the next slide, we have the kind of short overview of the development AI. The development AI currently is, you hear a lot about it, but it's still, to be honest, quite a small space. So we have some AIs that help you build Power Automate flows, some AIs which help you build expressions in Power Automate flows. We have an AI that helps you build Power Apps. This one I'm actually quite excited about. You have literally an AI which allows you to draw your app on a napkin, take an image, and generate the actual app in real life. And I think that can bridge a lot of the kind of work that people are trying to do in building apps. This whole initial steps that you have to do. I mean, it's something that you have to do every time, or you can just scan an image and it's done essentially. So yeah, we have some
the $1 million question is then, of course, Ilya, did you try that out? Did you write it on a napkin? Did it work already?
Yes, yes. And the thing is that anyone can try it. You can get a developer's license right now where Power Apps will be included for free, and it will be part of that solution. So it's obviously when you draw that token, it will not be fully functional application. I actually did a video and an article about it when I literally showed how it worked. And yeah, it does work quite well. I mean, what I did, kind of for fun, I took a screenshot from an existing app from the App Store and scanned it into apps and basically duplicated that app with one button click.
Wow.
So that's
those are very nice examples. Yeah. Before we go further, because I really appreciate if people ask questions, and it also confirms that we are really live. So thank you very much, Ricardo. So yeah, Fabric, we can't avoid it. Is that a role of Fabric? Maybe I rephrase the question a little bit. Is Fabric another enabler of AI, or is that separate?
I think Fabric is still in its early days, but mostly its space is around analytics, right? So it's definitely part of it, but it's not what would unify that. Let's put it this way. And there's really no need to unify the two kinds of AI. When I'm saying that there's two kinds, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying that that's how it is, and each space needs to evolve on its own. I mean, more tools for developers to build excellent apps and easier and faster, and more tools for end users to leverage functionalities in different apps.
Yeah, exactly. So here we see Power Automate and apps, and you told me before that on Power Automate, that is one of the areas you're also involved in to further improve it, right? The AI components in there. And do you have some other examples on what can people expect there? What are you working on? Can you share something? And if not, let me know.
Well, let's just say, if it's not in the Power Platform release planner or the Power Platform release notes, I guess I cannot really share that. But I can share with you one thing, and I hope that my program managers will not be angry with me on that. This year, and especially end of this year and the beginning of next year, will be, I think, even more exciting for AI in Power Platform in general for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That I can definitely say.
Oh no, yeah, I don't think that you will be angry about that if you say that. No, because we see already also from Build, we see so many announcements, and also on Power BI, which we mostly have in our live sessions about. Also there's a nice video about Copilot, where you can create a whole report. You say, based on this data, these are the 5 KPIs. Can you create a report for me? We see videos from that in Build. Which hopefully soon we can also try out ourselves. So there's a lot of co-pilots being added to Microsoft products, right? Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, there's actually, I think even a Windows Copilot coming.
Yeah, also in Windows itself. Yeah. So here that is the development AI, and then here you have some examples of operational AI. Can you tell a little bit more about that? What is use cases for that? What solutions do you have there?
So this is kind of a very, very high-level overview of the kind of operational AI we already have in the Microsoft ecosystem in general. So we have, of course, the AI Builder, which is I would say the highest level AI capabilities that we have. So it is literally exposed in Power Platform. If you want to use those capabilities, like summarization or sentiment analysis or all the things that it has. It's literally, a few clicks away. You don't need no special training, no special understanding of how it works. It is extremely easy to do, and it's literally, a core component of Power Platform that you can reuse in any Power Platform application. Then we have PVA chatbots, which again itself is also at the Power platform level. It requires, maybe it requires a little bit more knowledge than Builder, but still it creates a very, very easy way, especially with PVA2, to create sophisticated chatbots that respond to queries and that can take the load of human operators in many applications, especially customer service applications right now. And there's, of course, a lot of people working on implementing those as well.
So for the people who don't know, sorry, Ilya, there's a short delay. So PVA stands for Power Virtual Agent. Is it then also the case, because I have some discussions within our team about that, will Power Virtual Agent become maybe the shell in which you can use OpenAI, GPT, Azure OpenAI, of Azure AI capabilities? Will it be your interface?
So that's kind of already is the case to some extent. There's a preview feature right now. It's called, I think, Enhanced Conversation, something like that. I forgot the exact name. But the point is that that preview feature essentially allows you to enhance your bot with the GPT engine. So you can essentially already do that. In fact, even before that feature was available, I saw some people implementing that in a kind of semi-custom way. So you already have connectors for OpenAI from Power Automate, and you can integrate Power Automate into your bots. So essentially, even right now, even without the preview feature, you can already redirect some of your conversations when you build a topic in PVA into OpenAI or into Azure OpenAI, and use that as kind of an extra, let's say, processing power to process certain messages if you want to. And you can be selective about it.
And so what is then Azure AI? Because there's so many terminologies flying around. What is Azure AI platform? What does that entail?
So Azure AI essentially is all the kinds of services that we have in Azure that are the foundations of AI. I mean, in the next slide, I think it'll be more clear, but we have, as I mentioned, AI is not one thing. Even OpenAI is not just one thing. It's many things that combine together to create a certain product. Like the foundation of PVA and AI Builder are components which originate from Azure AI in a sense, and they themselves rely on some other components, which eventually relies on the hardware of Azure. So it is essentially kind of a pro code level where you can take like lower level components that build out AI and use them in a more specialized or in a more custom ways. And in the same ways, you can also use external services. So for example, if you're unhappy or don't find what you wanted to find inside the Azure AI platform, there's plenty of connectors built in Power Platform, which allows you to connect to OpenAI, to other services as well that provide the AI capabilities outside of Microsoft, right? So you don't have to limit yourself.
And if you want to use those capabilities, is that just like everything in Azure, sort of a pay-as-you-go model? That the more processing power you use from this AI, the more you pay? Or how does it work? Or is it already included?
Honestly, it's very different because every component has its own licensing model, and every component works differently. It's like asking how much does it cost for every component in Azure. It's all very different. I mean, it's maybe one name that says Azure, all of it is Azure, but it's very, very different things. It's like a jungle of different applications that work very differently and license very differently.
I understand. But you have some tools, right, in Azure to help you, also calculate the cost always. I really like that. And then finally you say external services.
Right.
So that's something outside Microsoft then.
Or? So in Power Automate we have like right now over 1,000 different connectors, and most of those connectors, I think like 2/3 of those connectors, are connecting to services that are not part of Microsoft at all. So you're free to expand your Power Platform applications with services, including AI services, which are not part of the Microsoft ecosystem if you want to. If you need, I don't know, some kind of super specialized bot that does, I don't know, legal work, and at Microsoft we don't have that, for example, you can use a connector with Power Automate to connect your bot or your application or your whatever it is in Power Platform to that other service.
Wow. Yeah, that's okay. And I think the next slide you have this picture. Is that this? Yeah. So here you have a little bit an overview.
So this is.
Please tell.
Yeah. So this is a kind of I try to visualize here the stack of all the applications, all the kinds of AI applications that we have and how they are actually used across our platform. And I'm literally starting from the hardware level and going all the way up until the actual end user applications in the Power Platform. And I kind of separate that into two distinct segments: the low code and the pro code. And also on the other side, I gave it a bit of a designations of core pass, applied pass, core SaaS, and applied SaaS. And by core and applied, I mean that at the core pass level, we have components which are the foundation of everything. I mean, you can work with them directly if you want to. For example, you can build a Canvas app which directly uses machine learning or directly uses cognitive services if you want to, and if you need to. But does require kind of more knowledge, more, let's say, writing code that requires expertise in those kind of AI services and requires the expertise to perform that custom integration with those services. It's possible, and sometimes it's even not that difficult. But it requires certain expertise that a citizen developer would not have normally. On top of that, you have the applied paths, which are still kind of pro code-ish components, or they're still at Azure level. They're not exposed to Power Platform yet. And they themselves are built on top of the core pass components. So some of those things like the video indexer, like bot framework, like form recognition, basically, for the most part, you don't even have to write code to use those, but you need to have a bit of more deeper technical understanding to use those components. And again, they are still at Azure level and need to be able to understand how to integrate them with your Power Platform applications. On top of that, we have the core SaaS, which comes into the low-code segment. Those are essentially the applications which are built on top of the previous layers, on top of the applied pass or the core pass. And they expose to us in a very citizen developer friendly way, in a maker friendly way, basically the same services we have at Azure level. So, for example, AI Builder basically exposes the same services which you have at Azure level as part of cognitive services and as part of machine learning. But in order to build something with AI Builder, it's literally like 5 clicks and you're done. If you want to build the same thing with the machine learning or cognitive service, you have to learn the services, you have to write code, you have to integrate them. So it makes sense only if you want to build like super specialized applications where AI Builder is simply not enough in terms of its sophistication or the amount of customization it gives you. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with Power Visual Agents, right? It's no secret that the Power Visual Agents is built on top of both framework and right now also on top of Azure OpenAI. So it's not like a component on its own. It stands on a foundation, and it uses that foundation to expose in a very simple way, a very intuitive and interactive way to build sophisticated bots that help you to fulfill the needs of your customers.
So if you're a new citizen developer and you want to do things with AI, your suggestion would be start with AI Builder.
I would say
first,
that,
or
I would say that no matter who you are, if you're pro code, low code, it doesn't matter. You should always start from the top to the bottom. Yeah. So if you don't find somewhere something that you need at the upper level, you go one level down, and then go forward until you get to a space where you are happy with the functionality that you're looking for. Yeah. But never start, at the bottom. It's a waste of time, a waste of money. It's not a very good practice.
Yeah, good suggestion. And very stupid question, I know, but maybe other people that watch it also have it, so I'll ask it. Where can people find this AI Builder then? Is it because a lot of people are familiar with the top 6, but how do you start? Where can you find it?
The same place where you find all the other platform stuff. Basically, when you go to make.powerapps.com and you go into the Maker Studio, when you create their new apps and new flows and all that, you'll have their section for AI Builder, where you can create different AI Builder workloads. It does, I think, require like a separate license, so it depends on kind of license you have. And same thing with Power Visual Agents. It also appears basically there as part of the studio. You can click on it. It will directly into specifically the PVA builder. I think it's now called Unified Canvas. But yeah, it's all there in one place essentially.
Okay, it's one click away. Look at your license, whether it's there. Yeah. Okay. Now let's in the real world. I right away have to think about this nice video I saw about the new classes of Apple, and then there was a video. Maybe you see it also. The actual reality. What was it? Without any classes, but just a frame. Wow, it's so real. I really like that video. So here you have a very long list, and we're not going to discuss them all. And maybe if you're watching, have a look at this list, because you have prepared a slide for each of these. Is there something, we can leave it up to you also, that you want to see? You have the power. You can determine the rest of this episode. But if not, there's a short delay, so I will give a little bit of time. And otherwise, you have one with a... you can't give the demo now because you don't have your laptop now. That's unfortunate. But otherwise, you can pick one yourself. Ilya, what's your favorite one that you say, oh, this is so cool? I need to share this.
You know what? I tend to, I think, have a bit of an issue that my favorite tends to be things that other people don't see as very valuable. I can be like super excited about something, and the customer asks me, okay, why do I need it actually for?
Pick the one that you are excited about. Yeah, but pick the one that you. Yeah.
So the one I was excited about enough to actually implement that as a solution, which you can get on my GitHub and play with it yourself, is number 8, is to protect data with biometrics. And this is actually the one I was thinking about even before I started, doing the research for that deck and for that presentation. So this is kind of a way to build field-ready applications, like mobile applications essentially that you use on the go, but in such a way where the data that you have in those applications is protected using biometrics from people that might want to steal your information. And the thing is that when we are outside, we have a phone, and our phones normally are secure. We have biometrics, we have fingerprint readers, all that. But the thing is that as long as your phone is unlocked and someone takes it from your hand outside, they have access to everything. They have access to your email, to your WhatsApp. They can, write messages to co-workers and to your family, and that can be really dangerous. And especially if you are outside with an app that, for example, exposes sensitive data. I know if you're looking at banking information or military information and government information outside, and some kind of document, someone takes away your phone. I mean, that's it. They have access to that data. And I didn't really actually came up with this idea on my own. I came up with this idea after I saw this kind of documentary about a situation when that actually happened, when there was a situation when a person with very sensitive data was, looking at the public library, and essentially people engineered a distraction for him in such a way that he was distracted for a second from the laptop, and someone just took it from his table while it was unlocked, and got access to all his accounts, all his data, and all the sensitive information they have. So how do you avoid that? And the reason, the way to avoid
let me
that
share,
is
Ilya,
again.
Ilya, sorry, there's a short delay. So sometimes I need to. But you shared also a video on that. Let me share that video. Maybe you can do the voiceover of that video that you shared earlier on your timeline. Maybe that way. Hope you see it. Let me refresh it. So here you see an example of that solution.
Yeah,
Or
this is actually an app which you can download. You can it simulates that you're looking at this kind of super secret document by the CIA.
someone is pressing a horn here very much. So I hope they can. Okay. Yeah. Continue. Sorry, Ilya. I was distracted.
Yeah, kind of shows kind of when you're looking at an app with like a super secret document, from the CIA, and the app essentially continuously looking at you through the camera as it shows here, and it recognizes you using AI and tells you what kind of permissions do you have. But as soon as the app doesn't see you, the app is saying that you're unauthorized to view the data, and after a few seconds, it disconnects from the session.
Yeah.
So essentially, it uses kind of very basic biometrics, just the camera plus AI to make sure that you are who you are and continuously looking at the camera. So as soon as someone takes the phone from your hand, the app disconnects by itself. And even based on that image that comes from the camera, it also knows not just that you is who you say you are, but also what kind of permissions you have. So it kind of matches you to your profile server, and it knows that you have permissions to read this document, to, I don't know, edit this document, delete this document, whatever it is.
So here you're saying I'm using there for this face service. So that was probably one of these components that you earlier indicated.
Yes.
So within the app, you can build it in.
Yeah. So I'm using an Azure service. This is kind of a low-code solution, a pro-code solution. So I'm using this kind of the applied pass level, meaning that I'm using a kind of a higher level component, but still at Azure level, which allows you to register faces and through face recognition using AI, match people's images to their actual profiles. And you can upload multiple images. You can train that service to recognize a certain person by several images, from different sizes, with glasses, without glasses, but whatever it is. And then that person will be recognized and matched to a specific ID. So that service, that app, essentially what it does is that it uses the camera to continuously send a stream of images from the camera every several times a second to the face service, and make sure that whoever is visible in the camera is the person who is authorized to view that document, and gets in return kind of the profile and the set of permissions that that person is allowed to have within the application.
Now let's go back to
low code.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Danielle asked, how long did it take you to make this solution?
2 hours.
That's nothing. 2 hours.
Yeah, I think it took me longer to do the video than the solution.
The video took longer than the solution. I recognize that. Yeah, and I also before I forget it, Ilya, I already put that also in the announcement. You also, because next to being a senior program manager at Microsoft, you seem to be a developer at night, maybe, or something, because you also created this Feinpilot. Can you share a little bit what that is and how long did it take to create that? Well, because I'm very curious to hear.
It's kind of was in a way part of my journey to learn AI. I mean, I'm a person who doesn't read a lot of kind of books and documentation. I take a look at examples, and in order for me to learn something, I need to do it, right? And I wanted to learn kind of on a very deep level OpenAI and Azure OpenAI. So what I did, essentially, I built an app. It's a desktop application that runs currently on Windows. There is also a Mac version in development that runs in the background. And essentially, anywhere in Windows we have text, or in Word, in a browser, in Visual Studio, in PowerShell, in wherever you are, you can select any text. You can copy it using Control C, basically as the window show, and you can paste it at that place or another place, kind of as through AI processing. So you can, for example, say, I want to write an RFP for tomatoes, and you just select the text RFP for tomatoes. You paste it, and what's pasted is the result that was processed by OpenAI or by Azure OpenAI. It's up to you. It supports both APIs.
Yeah, I really
and
love it.
It supports also not just general kind of ChatGPT capability. It supports also context capability. So it has what I call specialties. So you can use it as a C# for C# development, or to write business emails, or to write creative documents, or to write scientific documents, or to I think there's even a specialty for writing tweets, social media, or posts, and to literally write for you like hashtags and emojis and all that. So you can like, for
exactly.
example, select
I use it quite a bit because I really like it, because of course, like we mentioned in the beginning, you have these co-pilots in every program, but they are catered to a certain use case. And with this, I can like your tagline for this also, you can use AI in every window or something. It doesn't matter where I'm working, I can just copy it, and with a little shortcut I can say, okay, whether it's a recipe or a social media post, just write it where I am now, whether I'm in LinkedIn, in Word, or in Notepad, doesn't matter. Just paste it, the answer. I really like it. And for people that don't know it, but you can. I to be honest, I haven't used yet the Azure OpenAI, but I use more the API for OpenAI. So confusing, all these letters. But it's so cheap, right? If you use a fast, a little bit older version, but still very much good enough, it's 0.002 cents or something. I don't know. When I made a mistake and accidentally did 2,000 calls, I had a 15-cent mistake. It's nothing. So try it out. We're also actively sharing on that, and you are also. And maybe you should mention you because you just started also this afternoon something new, because there is a group also available, right? For if you want to know more about this, a new community channel.
So I kind of decided on a whim, more or less, to create a community in WhatsApp for Power Platform. I did not really expect it to explode as fast as it did, but basically within a week it grew to now almost 1,200 people. Wow. And as of today morning, we have within the community 6 or 7 different groups, and it's like it's a continuous chat that goes 24/7. Literally, we have people from all around the world talking about Power Platform there in basically just one space. It's like a great place to connect with people, kind of in a very ad hoc conversation. It's not like a replacement for other things. It's kind of this kind of stream of consciousness that you can jump into and jump out to whenever you want to.
So are you okay if I share the links, because you indeed generated different groups? There's one overall one, and there are now specific groups. He didn't paste it as expected, but you see it in the YouTube channel in this where this video is. I will make a nicer version in the description later on. But you see here, so there's a new functionality in WhatsApp where you can just there's a lot of activity to be honest, because there's a lot of people there. So it's nice that you also do all these initiatives to share knowledge with each other. And I really appreciate it that you're so active doing that.
I'm kind of, if you do something, even if it's not something that world changing and no one knows about it, then what's the point really? And I'm trying to kind of. I was not very active, for example, in the community in general. Like 2 years ago, I don't think I even had a social media profile anywhere. And I spent a lot of time thinking about ideas and solutions, all those kind of cool things which I think could be beneficial to someone. And you come to a customer meeting and you give those ideas, and 90% of them are rejected for whatever reason. And they just stay in your head somewhere, not benefit. So why not just write about it, tweet about it, have someone else benefit from that? And that's really my motivation for doing all of that.
Nice. I like that. And because you inspire each other, because maybe when someone sees your solution, think, hey, but wait a minute, then maybe this is also possible. Let me try that also, and then share that, hopefully. So you strengthen each other's creativity, right? By sharing. And a lot of people, they say, oh no, it's not good enough, I'm not going to share it. No, just share it, because it can also influence a lot of other people, right? Yeah.
Anyone who thinks that their content is not good enough should go to Twitter and see what kind of garbage people write there,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's always better than 99% of the rest of the content, right?
It cannot be worse than what we have
true. No, I, in my opinion, if you have something creatively to share that you thought about and you have a first version, it doesn't even have to work completely. You have a first idea, let me share it. Yeah, it's always preferred on not doing it because it will create also reactions and it can help you and to further learn. Yeah, I like it. No, yeah, I recognize that you're doing that. Let's do one more shorter because we are time flies. Let's do one more. Let me share the screen. So can we do? What would you think is a nice one? And so you did now pick a personal favorite. So what is now the one that you think? Oh, that's for the most people an interesting one to shortly tell about.
There's two, I guess. There's number 21, about which I already talked separately quite a lot about building efficient business processes using process mining, but that's a bit of a big topic. Let me go with number 1 because I think number 1 is very underrated.
The slide is a little bit ugly, but that's my fault probably in my PowerPoint.
I think it's it got a bit bad in the PDF conversion, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
let's try something else.
In Azure, we have a service called anomaly detection, and essentially it does what it says. It detects anomalies in a series of data, and that sounds like a very technically and a very what was it used for, but it can be incredibly valuable for many different applications where you have any kind of data that you need to keep consistent. It can be financial data, can be medical data, can be data about manufacturing, can be whatever it is. So if you need to detect proactively, even in real time, that you have deviation from a certain data stream, then that essentially does that for you using AI. There's actually 3 examples here about Bayer, Airbus, and Microsoft. Bayer, the medical company, pharmaceutical companies, they're actually using that for clinical trial data. So they collect millions of data points, from thousands of people, from like all the parameters and all the measurements that they can take from a person, their height, their hemoglobin levels, their blood pressure, their heart rate, whatever it is. All that in combination of how that reacts to medications and to new drugs that are being developed, and how those combinations interact with each other and how they affect the person. And you do have certain expectations of how a drug would affect. If you're testing a drug that against fever, and it gives someone a rash or something like that, you want to discover that, and discovering that based on millions of data points for a human is nearly impossible. But doing that for AI is literally what it does for breakfast, and does that very, very, very quickly. So anomaly detector essentially is, in a way, a very simple service that takes multiple data streams. It asks you what are your expectations from the data, and using AI to detect significant and anomalies and significant, deviations from certain trends which are established by previous data history. So Bayer used that to detect anomalies in clinical trials. Airbus is using that for even, I think, maybe even a more interesting solution. They're using that to scan the maintenance logs for all the aircraft and discover when an aircraft can break down before it breaks down, based on the history of all these thousands of aircraft that they have. And Microsoft itself, we also use that internally to scan financial data. So if I'm doing an expense report from a business trip, and I bought every customer debiting a Ferrari, then that would be noticed by Microsoft, because that would be an anomaly, I guess, in financial data.
Yeah. So and it's because in Power BI, you also have anomaly detection, but this is then is that based on this one, or is it two different things?
This kind of takes directly a stream of data that can be connected directly from Dataverse. So it's not like a report. It's like you can literally, as financial data or medical data, whatever it is, gets into Dataverse, it can stream directly into anomaly detector, and it can tell you almost in kind of near real time or kind of with certain delay that you have a certain anomaly in your data. It can do like historical scans as well, but also it can do almost near real time scans of your data.
Yeah, interesting. Now that's a very important use case, I would imagine. So
and very
and
kind of
go ahead.
I think we had some question, right?
I don't see any additional questions here, but that's fine. If you're watching this later, because maybe a lot of people are watching this later, you can always leave your question also in the comments. So don't hesitate to do that. We'll have a look at it and tag Ilya in in LinkedIn maybe. But we're already at the end of this episode, Ilya. I want to thank you very much. I'm glad that we were able to technically make it work, although it was not ideal, but sometimes you have to be creative there also. So I'm happy at all that you were able to join. So thank you very much for that effort to make that work. And we are also next week here, but not on the first day, because on the first day we have a very large event, our own first event together with Victa. We are organizing a Power BI event, and let me look for the picture because we have some news. It's in Dutch, Ilya. Sorry about that. We are sold out. I borrowed this from Ron. This nice GIF. Thank you, Ron. So we're sold out. We have 250 people in a theater in the Netherlands who are all fan or maybe fan, almost fan of Power BI. So we have a very busy program. Your colleague Emily Lisa is joining to share more about all the new things that are in data modeling and DAX. So we will share about that. We have Amaan van Amersfoort who's sharing new developments on the visualization. And we have the CFO of Bolletje. Do you know Bolletje, Ilya? The company Bolletje? Ik wil Bolletje.
Not sure.
They're a very famous brand in the Netherlands for mostly breakfast. So they're over 100 years.
I mean, the only thing I know about Dutch breakfast is you need to have bread and you need to have like chocolate sprinkles, right?
Ja, hagelslag, hè? Yeah, I'm a fan of hagelslag. Yeah, and we have the product owner of Power Platform at the Rabobank. So he's also the fourth speaker. So yeah, I'm a little bit getting nervous because it's only 1 week away now. But I have no need to be nervous because we have a nice program, nice speakers, and a lot of people there, nice people there. So it's gonna be cool. Next week we are on a Friday live. For that reason, and we have then Dennis as a guest. He has been here more often, and he's going to share about what can you do about security. Now, maybe the face recognition solution that we just discussed can be part of it now, but there's also other security measures you can take to make your platform secure. So join us if you're interested in that also, and thank you for watching now, and have a nice evening all. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Ilya. Bye.